going to do a lens change. So lower lens changes are a common process on fiber lasers. These are a consumable item. This is something that you and your operators are going to need how to do so that you can perform it during your day-to-day basis. The first thing that we're going to need to do before we get into this head is we want to make sure that the space that we are working in is clean. If you have just been cutting, you're going to want to leave your dust collector running for a little bit. Get all of that residual dust and dirt floating around in the air here to kind of settle down. While that dust collector is running, I'm going to go ahead, get myself a rag, wet it with some sort of cleaning solution, and just give the head a good wipe down. Particularly focusing on any areas that are directly above this door here, because that is the door we're going to open up to change this lens, and we don't want any dust, dirt particles falling down into there. We're going to take a couple extra precautions to prevent that by masking the area off a little bit, but we want to make sure it's clean first. We just want to minimize any chances of any sort of contamination getting in here. Especially because moving up to this next lens up, this middle lens, that is going to be a service call. That is a warranty service. Our technicians will need to come and perform that for you. I'm just going to wipe this down. Making sure I get in all the little nooks and crannies. Any little speck of dust in there is a potential contamination point. You're never going to fully eliminate the potential contamination. There's a lot of factors that go into that based on, the quality of the air in your environment, in your shop. But we're just going to minimize it as much as possible here. So now that I've got that wiped down, I'm going to go ahead, get a nice big piece of this masking tape, and I'm going to create myself a little shelf here above that door just to help block any potential falling dust particles. And extend that out just a little bit. All right. So now that I have my area clean, I have my area masked off here, I also like to go ahead and just spritz a little of this isopropyl alcohol in the air around here. Again, hydroscopic, it's going to absorb the water moisture in the air, which will pull the dust, any lingering dust or dirt particles floating around in here, and help them fall down. At this point, you want to shut your dust collector off. You want to, if you've got a fan, we're working in the shop, you got a fan out here blowing on your operator, they're going to want to either turn that off or turn it away from this open door. We don't want any air being sucked or blown into this area while we open this door. So go ahead, once we get that all turned off, we're going to open this thumb screw. Once we get this thumb screw open, we have this door open, we want to do this a nice, quick, smooth process. We're going to open the door, we're going to grab the tabs on the lens cassette, pull it out, and immediately close the door. One other step we want to put on there as well, just for an extra layer of protection, I'm going to put a piece of tape on the bottom of that nozzle. You see, I pull that lens out, and before I even inspect it, I'm going to close that door, seal it back up. Now that we have our lens out, in our lens cassette here, this is the piece I was telling you about earlier, your machine will come with an extra one of these, so you could have a lens prepared and ready to go back in immediately, instead of checking this one and cleaning it and spending the time doing that where your machine's not running. Some basic geometry of this lens cassette. So we have our top piece here that's going to hold this lens in place. It has a seal on it. And you'll see we'll flip that over. There is also an O-ring underneath that lens right there, which also helps seal it off. Your main body here, and then on the bottom we have this spring seal. It's going to make that final seal on the bottom side. You want to make sure that all of those are intact and clean before you put them back in. One, because you don't want to introduce any contamination to that lens area by having any dust, dirt particles on there. But also, if you have any sort of dust or dirt on here, it can actually cause a bad seal, and you're going to get an alarm for your differential, your pressure differential here, which is going to cause you to have to pull this back out and check it again to get that alarm to go away. So just extra care to make sure that your seals, your O-rings are all clean before you put them back in there, so you don't have to repeat this process. Once I have my lens replaced, and I'll show you that in just a second here, that's what I'm going to use the air blower for here to blow any little extra dust particles off of that lens. When you're checking a lens, it's nice to have a nice bright flashlight that you can shine in there, or like I said before, one of those UV black lights as well. Really helps those dust particles stick out. We're checking our lens. We're looking for dust, dirt, hazing, water spots, any sort of fogging on that lens. We want to get rid of all of it. If you see any of those things on your lens, that is an indication that that lens either needs to be cleaned or changed, because that is going to affect your cut conditions. It's going to affect the temperature dissipation of that lens. It's going to cause you a lot of problems. So you just really want to make sure that this lens is very nice and clean, and check it. You know, take your bright light, rotate it around, make sure that you don't have any dust or dirt particles on there. I can see some falling from the ceiling right now. So we're going to go ahead, change this lens out. We'll find a nice clean spot to set that down. We'll take our new lens. Open this up. All the lenses will come sealed in a little paper envelope like this. Inside this paper envelope, they are also wrapped in a saran wrap as a third layer of protection. Get my lens out, and I want to take this one out of here. Now, you never want to touch the surfaces of the lenses with your bare hands. If you prefer to wear gloves during this process, that is a good idea. Or just having nice, clean, dry hands as well. You don't want to be reaching in here with dirty, grimy oil, that kind of thing, because all of those are just going to get on this lens cassette, get into your lens area, and contaminate your cutting head. So we will pop that lens out of there and set it aside. This lens, I know, is still good. We can clean it. I just need to give it a little wipe down. You see here, I'm holding the lens by the sides, as long as you're not leaving any moisture spots on the sides of here. So if it's a real hot, humid day, you might not want to do this. This is okay. I'll place my lens back in that cassette and seal that up, because I know that that is good, just needs to be cleaned. Take my new lens here, and I'm going to unwrap that. So if you can unwrap this and kind of peel the bottom part back, we can place this lens in there without having to touch it. Put our lens in the cassette here. I'm going to peel back that plastic wrap, replace our top cover, and we're going to get ready to put this back in. So open our door here. Slide that lens in, back in place, seal that back up, remove our masking tape, and you are done. You're ready to go and start cutting again.